What is going on, everyone? X-Future here, and welcome to round number 3 of the Jules Bianchi tribute career here in Bahrain. Now guys, if you are enjoying this series, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. And if you got any ideas or just any feedback, make sure you do leave it down in the comments. I do read every comment, and I really want to know what people actually think of my videos, as we are here in qualifying for round number 3. I think I already said that, but after our first run of 5 laps by the looks of things, we were in just gone down to P12 now with our banker lap. We're now on our final lap, as we will not cross the line before the checkered flag falls, so we'll be trying, we're down to P13. We're trying to improve as we now run through the left-right sort of fast S down into this hairpin. Now we open up the throttle and we come down to one of the trickiest corners around for braking into, this one here. It's really tricky, as you can see where everyone's locked up. You can see the black mark on the track. It's really hard. As we now come onto one of 4 straights around this track and one of 2 DRS straights. Now I was thinking, coming into this race, will I do good, will I do bad? Like, you know, when I go into a race, I generally have a sense of how I'm going to go. But here, I was really confused, because on one hand, this has always been a very successful track for me. I've always driven it very well. And if you haven't already seen in the co-op career with my friend Jenson, I did actually win this race. But on the other hand, it has 4 long straights, and this car's straight line speed is very low. It's not one of its strong suits, so we could do good, we could do bad, as we now come down the straight for the final time to finish our lap. We're currently in P13, and it looked like we went up to P11. I'm not sure. We have passed our objective, as you can tell by Jules being happy, which is always a good thing. But the only thing I've found with that is it then sets your objective for the race very high, as we have actually improved on that final lap and qualified in position 11th. In between the 2 Force Indias, we're ahead of Kevin Magnussen, the Toro Rossos, Saubers, Lotuses, my teammates down in 20th, and it's a Mercedes front row, then Williams, Red Bull, and Ferrari. Now let's go to the race. We're on the grid here in Bahrain, revving up to 5 red lights, and we're off for the Bahrain Grand Prix, as I get a not very good start, as Perez has passed me, and I've got a McLaren and Magnussen trying to go down my outside. And now I pull to the inside and throw right up the inside very aggressively up into 6th place, as Ricciardo just gives me room, but I have to move out to the outside because Vettel's parking the bus and Ricciardo's now got me. I'm into P7 off the start after dropping a couple of positions, as Jenson Button's looking to go up my inside but thinks better of it, and oh my god, I think I've forgotten to brake. I've just completely clattered into Felipe Massa there, and now it looks like, oh my god, all I can hear is cars knocking into each other, as now we're running side by side with Rosberg for 2nd place, and I've got him round his outside. Oh my god, what is happening? Rosberg's still there, I think, as we come down into this hairpin right-hander. It's like hanging around the outside of Rosberg, and it looks like I've actually got the move done, and holy crap, guys, I am up into 2nd place off the start as we come into this very tricky left-hander, but onto the DRS straight, but I'm in 2nd. Holy crap, what a start. And I'm just like, nah, this couldn't be happening. I paused it just to check. It's on Legend AI. As you can see, it is. I was like, what the hell has just happened? As we now come down the straight, accelerating up through the gears, and it looks like Rosberg's going up our inside. And it looks like he's going to have the move done quite easily. I didn't put up much of a fight against him. It is Nico Rosberg. He's in a Mercedes. I am in a Marussia, so I didn't stand too much of a chance. Now I'm sort of going for the park the bus tactic on the massive train behind me, which includes Vettel, Ricciardo. I can't really tell looking in the little rearview mirror I've got, but I've got Vettel right up behind me to come through the very last corner to finish the first lap of the race. What am I talking about? As Hamilton goes purple on the first lap, I am losing the ability to speak as we're going 3 wide as Mass is going up my inside, and it looked like Vettel was trying to go on my outside, and I just brake latest of them all. It looks like almost too late as Vettel has actually got me, and I actually collect the bollard there trying to gain an advantage, but I'm dropped down into 4th place, and Massa is right behind me, and Vettel is in front of me, and I throw it up the inside of Sebastian Vettel, and it looks like I actually get the move done. And that is good news, but there was a yellow flag for a minute, and this is what for as we right on board on a replay with Sebastian Vettel. He just has to move out of the way of me barging through, and he tries to get back in there, and he gets hit by Kimi Räikkönen. Now we look on Kimi Räikkönen's point of view. Vettel just swerves across in front of me. In front of him, I should say. As now we have a look at the replay of the start. I sort of barge up the inside, and then you can see I sort of go around the outside, but I just don't get it done, and now that allows Ricciardo to get past me. As now we've got Jenson Button as we move across the inside of the track. He wants to get past me, but he thinks better of it, and now, yeah, I think I forgot to brake as I've collected the Williams, and everyone's touching everyone. It's absolutely chaotic there. I don't even know what to say. It's just an absolute shambles, and then I just drive round the outside of Nico Rosberg, but of course in his Mercedes was just a superior car in every way to every car on the grid. Managed to hold it around my outside as we now run down. Looks like I get the move done here, which is good news. Oh, we already know. We now cut to the end of lap 2, and Massa just gives me a little tap as I'm trying to defend as we move across right over to the pit wall as we come down the pit straight. And this wasn't even with DRS, so I was really worried about later in the race, and holy cow, how deep do I want to go under brakes? That's a catastrophic mistake, as I've actually lost 3 positions to, I think it was Vettel, Button, and Massa in the end, and now I've got Massa's teammate, Valtteri Bottas, trying to pull alongside me, but he doesn't seem to be able to as we come down into turn 3 or 4, I think it is. I don't know. There's a bit of front wing. I think that's Kimi Räikkönen's on the side of the track. Look like an M plate. As we cut to lap 4, and I've got a massive moment, and Bottas has just driven straight past me. Same with Sebastian Vettel, so it must have been Daniel Ricciardo going through earlier, the other Red Bulls. Now I try and go up the inside of Vettel. I thought about going up the inside of Bottas, but smartly I thought better of it. Now he skipped, and I tried to just get my nose there inside Bottas, just so he would just move out of the way so he wouldn't make contact, but it clearly didn't work. As now I get a bit of a moment, and Sebastian Vettel is trying to go round my outside at this very long right-hander, but of course I managed to hold it up the inside as we come into the last sector, and I just squeeze him out in the penultimate corner as we come down the back straight. Now we skip to the pit straight, and it looks like Vettel is now gaining on me with the assistance of DRS. He's gaining. I've tried to block onto the inside, and he goes up the outside of me, and then I brake too early, and then I have to let off and go even deeper under the brakes, but I've retained the position. It looks like Fernando Alonso is passing Sebastian Vettel. Yes, he has, as we cut to later that lap on the other DRS straight. Fernando Alonso is right behind me as he pulls to my outside, coming into this left-hander. And it looks like he tries to hang around the outside. Yes, he does try and hang it around the outside, and he seems to be still there. I try to give him some space. I wanted to just shut the door on him, but I just couldn't when he was out there. But he's still there, and now I'm trying to hang it around the outside of the penultimate corner. Now we run down another one of the many straights at this circuit. Running side by side, he doesn't seem to be gaining too much of an advantage on me when we've got equal playing field, no slipstream or anything, but I try and squeeze him in against the apex of the corner, and that tactic actually works as we cut to lap number 6. Alonso wants to have another crack at me. I move to the inside to defend, and he moves to the outside, and then he actually switchbacks me very smartly, but we have a little bit of a wheel bang, and I retain the position. As now we actually go onto the next DRS straight, and now it looks like he's going to have it done. He moves to the inside. I moved too late. I tried to defend, but now I'm trying to hang it around the outside of the corner, but he's actually backed out of it. As now we coming down the back straight now, and I move to the inside. Alonso to the outside, going into the corner. I brake quite late, and I go off the track very deep under brakes as Sebastian Vettel has actually got Fernando Alonso as he come down the pit straight. Now I'm going to have multiple cars trying to pass me down the straight. It looks like, I think that's Nico Hülkenberg following Vettel, and oh my god, we're going like 3 or 4 wide. I don't even know what's happening here. We've got Magnussen, Alonso, 2 Force Indias, Vettel and me all going side by side down into the straight, and it looks like I have actually prevailed in this massive pack out into the lead of this pack, but Vettel is now trying to fight me as we're getting very close to the side of the track as I'm trying to squeeze him out, and I return to my normal line, and I just managed to brake later than him and get back around the outside of him. As now we very cautious into that corner. I don't know what I was doing. I think we're on lap 7, so these tyres from memory had absolutely had it by now. As we're onto the DRS straight, Sebastian Vettel pulls to my inside and I return back to my normal line, give him some space, try to run around the outside, and he just can't hold it on the inside, and I get him around the outside, or retain around the outside I should say. We're still currently in 6th position. Somehow we have managed to remain in 6th position. I did not know how we were doing this, but now we're down the back straight. Sebastian Vettel goes to my inside. Surprisingly, I've moved over, and then he moved over to the outside, and then dummied to the outside and got up the inside. But now we're coming down the pit straight. I managed to hold it down the back straight, but now with the assistance of DRS, I'm a sitting duck. I squeeze him against the pit wall. Looks like he has me done. As for a second there, Alonso and Hülkenberg go around my outside, and for a second we were going 4 wide down the straight. As again I make a catastrophic error and brake way too late. And it looks like I'm going to lose 3 positions there to Alonso, Hülkenberg and Sebastian Vettel. And now I'm going to have to defend from a feisty Kevin Magnussen. But I go up the inside of Hülkenberg very aggressively. I was elbows out this race, and now I've lost the back end. I've been caught by Sergio Perez, and I'm around. It was going to happen sooner or later, guys. The way I was driving and how aggressive I was, it was going to happen sooner or later. As we look at a replay coming around the very last corner, and I just squeeze Vettel onto the apex, which lets me stay ahead of him around the outside. He has to back off as now we come down the main straight on the DRS. Vettel goes up my inside. Now look at that, we're running 4 wide down the straight. This is amazing racing. Imagine if we actually got this in real life. That would just be amazing, but that's never going to happen, as I run desperately, catastrophically wide and lose many positions there, or 3 to be honest. And now Kevin Magnussen I'm trying to defend off Kevin Magnussen, and then I don't know what that was. And then I just got a bit squirrely on the exit and just spun into the rear of Perez, and it just spun me. Yeah, I don't have much to say about that, but I was just too aggressive, really. There's not much to say, to be honest. As now we cut to the end of lap number 8, and I dive into the pits for my first of 2 stops, I believe, in this race, and I'm going to fit another set of options. The yellow wall soft tires, I believe, here. Yeah, I think it's yellow walled soft tires are the options at this track. Looks like I actually can't read that 2 something stop. It was an okay stop from the Marussia guys, and as Jeff tells me, 1 more stop to go in this strategy. As we now cut to lap number 11, we have Nico Hülkenberg breathing down my neck. More than breathing down my neck, he's going down my inside, down the pit straight. As I tried to squeeze him, we made a little bit of contact. I go back up his inside, very late under brakes, but this time for once I actually managed to get the car stopped before the corner when taking a stupid line like that. And I've actually retained the position on Nico Hülkenberg as he's trying to have another crack at me. Back up the inside again, coming down into turn 3 or 4, I'm not sure, but he actually backs out of it, and now he's got Kvyat right behind him. We now cut to lap number 12. Hülkenberg is gaining, pulls to the inside again. It's like the exact same thing that happened last lap, but this time I actually cut back to the outside and try and squeeze him onto the apex. We make a little bit of contact all through there, but in the end we have actually retained the position as we come down the back straight, and again he just taps me. It keeps happening, and he goes up my inside, but then he backs out of it again, and Kvyat has actually made a pass on Hülkenberg. As we cut to lap number 13, down the pit straight again. It was just constantly down the pit straight. I was quick everywhere else on the track but the straights. As Kvyat's going down my inside, but he actually backs out of it, and Hulkenberg's just cut across Kvyat, and if you look in my mirror, Kvyat has actually spun. That is Kvyat, I think, gets demoted all the way back to last place in this race. As now I'm getting distracted trying to look at Kvyat and figure out what happened, and Hulkenberg's gone up my inside, didn't even put up a fight. But now I hold it around my outside once I sort of realize what's happening, and I keep the position by the looks of things with a little bit of contact there going into the right-left. It looks like I've held the position. Now we cut to the back straight on lap number 14. Hulkenberg still breathing down our neck. Another little tap as he tries to go up the inside again, but he can't do it again. I just squeeze him onto the curb. As now we come down the pit straight. He's with DRS. He touches me again. I don't know why they kept touching me, because I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm making my one defensive move, and that's moving right to the inside of the track. And I do leave it late. I try and mirror what they're doing, but they just keep on hitting me. It just keeps on happening as I actually retain the position, as I actually get a lot of wheel spin out of that corner. And I tried to squeeze Hulkenberg right onto the inside of the track. He's having none of it, but now I go right clean around his outside, but it looks like he's trying to hold it. I get a bit of wheel spin, we tap again. This has just been a wheel bang fest. Now I go round, that sounded so wrong. As I go round his outside, and he's actually run slightly wide, I think. I couldn't tell in my rearview mirror, but he's still there. As now we tap again. As now it looks like he's going to have me as we run down to this very difficult left-hander, and he's just run clean off the track. That's going to hand me the position back. That hands me position 12 again. As we now cut to the end of lap number 15, going into the last corner. We both get a very bad drive through that corner, and he has got me way before the DRS zone. And it looks like he's going to peel into the pits, but he actually doesn't. Now I jump into his slipstream. It looks like we've got Esteban Gutierrez on our left, or just behind us in our blind spot. Now we go up the inside of Nico Hulkenberg, clobber the curbs just a little bit, but he does hold it around our outside. Nico Hulkenberg retains position 12 as now we come down another straight in this Bahrain Grand Prix circuit, as we very aggressively throw it straight up his inside, and I think we made contact again. But that looks like Esteban Gutierrez now trying to capitalize on me and Hulkenberg fighting it out, but it looks like no, he's still coming around at me down the outside, and now I look at my rearview mirror. That is a Ferrari. I look up the top left. It's Kimi Räikkönen back in this pack for some reason. Something must have happened to Kimi Räikkönen at the start. Maybe he had to pit. Maybe he got severe front wing damage from that incident with Vettel we saw earlier. Maybe he had to pit for a new front wing due to that. But I get a massive kick of oversteer there. As now Gutierrez has gone down and outside in the second DRS straight, and I go back up his inside and quite deep and squeeze him off. As that's a big moment there. I lost a lot of speed coming through this very long right-hander, but somehow I managed to stay in front of this train of three. But now we come onto the back straight, and I was going, guys, I'm going to have to pit soon. I'm really going to have to pit soon. These tyres had absolutely had it, but I needed to wait it out until lap 18, I believe, to fit the primes to make sure they'd make it to the end, as it looks like Kimi Räikkönen has actually just made a move on Esteban Gutierrez into the last corner, and now Räikkönen is going up my outside, down the pit straight. But now we've got Nico Hulkenberg going up our inside. Now we've just been mugged off by two drivers, and it looks like Esteban Gutierrez is trying to have some of it. I go straight up the inside of all of them at a very alternate line, and Hulkenberg and Räikkönen have just switched back me as I get a massive moment and then another massive moment, and I've lost out to all three drivers. That's turned out, it's just gone horribly, horribly wrong. As now we cut to the end of lap 17. These tyres have had it. You can tell by the amount of wheel spin I'm getting as I dive into the pit lane for my second and final stop of the race. I will be fitting the prime tyre, which I think is the white-walled medium at this track. It looks like a white-walled tyre. Yes, they're putting on the white-walled medium tyre, and we'll go till the end. 11 laps on this set, and hopefully come back and try and get up somewhere competitive, as Esteban Gutierrez has come out of the pits in front of me, and that's a very weird line. A bit of cordon cutting there. I really wanted to try and get in front of him, because I sort of thought I just didn't quite have the pace here. He'll just drive away from me, so I was desperate to get past him. And as you can see with that lunge up the inside, but he's still on my outside. He's coming up to this left, right, left, or right, left, really. It's just a little kink. He's still there on my inside in the left-hander, but I'm going to have the ideal line for this right-hander, and he backs out of it before the corner, and that gives me 15th place. As we now cut to lap number 23, I am in 14th place, as I believe someone has pitted. We come onto the pit straight, and I'm running a little bit wide there, as Esteban Gutierrez is all over my back, and I move to the inside, and he moves even further to the inside. I try to squeeze him on the pit wall, but he just gets me done quite easily with the DRS and the superior straight line speed of that Sauber compared to my Marussia. But I go around his outside into turn 1 and get it done, surprisingly, as we now cut to the end of lap 27. At this point I had been lapped, so we were about to start the final lap of this race. As you can see, Esteban Gutierrez is all over me as he pulls to the inside, running side by side, and I tried to squeeze him onto the pit wall again, but it hasn't worked, and he's got me done. Coming up to the first corner, and I go back up his inside very late under the brakes, but it looks like I've got the move done. I have retained 14th place. I just got to survive 3 more straights, really. And now I try and move. No! We made contact! I'm in the wall! I've lost my front wing. He's put me in the wall. Gutierrez has put me in the wall. Let's have a look at a replay of this. Here we are coming through turns, I think it's 2 and 3. He's right behind me. I make my one defensive move and he just spins me. That was really unnecessary, Esteban. Let's have a look at a chase camera on board with me as we come around here. And then I moved my car across and he just puts me into the wall. Let's have a look on board with Esteban. And he could have lifted off and avoided that collision completely. With no front wing, I'm running side by side with Kvyat for 17th place. And I go horrendously wide. And a bit of wheel spin there. But I come back onto the track and I cross the line in position 18. As you can see, just still in front of my teammate, Max Chilton. Lewis Hamilton has won the race from Daniel Ricciardo and Felipe Massa. As you can see, I have finished in P18, Chilton in 19, then Maldonado, Ericsson, and Grosjean has not finished this race, but Kamui Kobayashi is up in 15th place. But it's been a very action-packed race, but it's actually turned out to be a horrible, horrible race for us. As we look at the, nope, that's the race standing still. What am I doing? I was trying to look at the, Drivers' Championship, but I don't seem to have it there. Anyway, guys, there it is. Anyway, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you had, make sure you do subscribe. I am dropped down into 14th place in the championship. Make sure you do subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.